Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Life with Marianne and Joe. Joe here, and we are continuing with our Fall in Love with Fall Decorating series for 2022. This is episode 3, and I have been working here in the family room. I hope you caught episode 1 and episode 2, in which I decorated the wall unit that's in this room. Check it out. And I'll link those both in the description box below so you can take a look at those, and it might inspire you. You might like it, you might not like it, but you might as well check it out and see what I'm all about. So today I am going to be continuing in this room with this entire wall. I'm going to start with the mantle, and then I'm going to work on the windows and the chairs that are right here as well. So I'm going to get this whole wall done in this video. My whole thing is to always try to use as much of the stuff that I have so that I don't have to go out and keep buying. I have plenty of stuff, and I try to mix it up every year. And this year, I am doing all traditional fall colors: the oranges, the yellows, the burgundies, pine cones, sunflowers, pumpkins, things like that. And I'm trying to mix it up and present it to you in as much of a different way as I can than I've done in the past. It's tough trying to reinvent the wheel because it is what it is, right? But we'll try, we'll give it a try and see how it goes. This year, like I said, I'm doing a lot of traditional colors, and I'm also like leaning towards a rustic-y kind of a look. I'm trying to use a lot of wicker throughout, even though, like I said in my last video, the house usually doesn't lend itself to wicker, but because it's the fall, I look at it like Christmas, and you can design and do whatever you want because it is a state of mind. It might be 110 degrees where you are, but you can still decorate for fall and get that cozy feeling no matter what. Just like Christmas, right? Same thing. All right, so sit back and stay tuned for the mantle. Let's start there. Hold on. Okay, so as I said in a previous video, I'm trying to work as smart as I can this year, meaning that I am also prepping for Christmas as I'm decorating for fall. This way I just have to change a few things out to make my life a little bit easier. And what I'm talking about is actually what I do on top of the mantle. Now, I've tried multiple ways of hanging my stuff, and because I tend to load up the top of my mantles, I used to have problems where, when I use command strips, everything would fall down, which is not great. And I don't want to put nails in this at all. And I even used bricks at one time. I would line bricks up and use floral wire to attach the garland to so that it would stay in place. But in the past couple of years, what I've done is, hold on, I'm going to get it right now. I have been using a board on top of my mantle. Now, for my mantle in the living room, I have a board that fits perfectly, and I made it white. This board that I use in the family room is a little bit more rustic looking, and it's exactly where I'm going with this year's decor. So this is a very heavy board. I just weighed it. It came out to 14.2 pounds. So it should stay pretty solid with what I put on it. Now, last year I really overdid the mantle in here, and I actually had to use 2 clips on each end because even this wasn't heavy enough. But what this does is, this is heavy, and it will allow you to put nails in here and to really secure what you're going to be putting on your garland so that you don't find it on the floor after all the work you do. So let's get this up on top of the mantle. Okay, so I had to switch it because there was a little chip in it. So now what I'm going to do is, you can put nails up here or you can put nails in here on the side so that you can actually put your garland below this. Now, having such a large television like this and a limited amount of space has really been a challenge when you want to decorate, especially right here, because the center of your television is what reads the remote. So if you load this up over here, you're gonna have problems with your remote. Like last year, all through Christmas time, I had to keep standing up in order to change my television or do anything, because there was a little bit and it was interfering with the reading of the remote. So this year for fall, I'm not even going near the middle of the television. I don't want to be dealing with that. And then for Christmas, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. So here is the beginning, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on each end. Okay, so how can we make this mantle different than something we've done or seen in the past? And it's really difficult because there's not very many ways you can do it. I mean, you can do it symmetrical, you can do it asymmetrical, one side and not the other side. You can do straight across the mantle, you can do a loop below, or you can do a swag across the mantle. But basically we've seen a lot of that, and I like to try different things for me and for you. So I came up with, I've been racking my brains, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What can I do for you guys out there that might be a little bit different that you might like to use? So I'm going to try this. It might not work. If it doesn't work, we'll take it apart and do something else, but at least we'll try it. So like I said, I'm using a lot of wicker baskets in here. So what I thought was, let me try to use a wicker basket. But how do you put a basket up there? There's not that much room. There's only like that much room up there. So what I did was I went up in the attic and I got this basket right here. Now it had a handle on it, and I sawed that handle off. And then what I did was I took the basket and I actually sawed it in half like this. And I put a piece of cardboard in the back so that whatever I put in there doesn't fall out the back. So then I thought, okay, now I can have half a basket up here in this little tiny space and make it appear like it's a full basket. I don't know. I'm going to try that and see where it goes from that. And we'll build from those baskets and see if we can get an aesthetic looking representation of fall on the mantle. All right, so I went ahead and I did one side because I had to test it out, and I'll show it to you, but I'm going to take it apart because I don't like it. It's too much, especially near the television set. But I'll share it with you, and then I'm going to fix it. Okay, so there it is. You see I put that half a basket in, like I said, and I put it up on a piece of styrofoam block, and it's just too high because if you can imagine, when the other side is done, it's just going to be way too much. Even though the remote works, it's just too much. So I'm going to thin this out, and I'll use those baskets somewhere else. Okay, so this is the third time that I've redone this. I'm just trying to tweak it the right way. Like I just showed you before, it was way too high, and I've lowered it. So let me explain how I did it, because I know it's going to be a little bit confusing. First thing I did was I put a piece of garland along this piece of wood. Remember, I put the wood here. So I put the nails in the side over here, and then I put that piece of garland. That was the first thing I did. Next thing is I have a piece of the Dollar Tree, the block, the green foam, right back in there. Originally I had the basket on top of it. Now I took the basket out and I just have that foam there, and what I did was I put two nails coming up from the board so that the foam could sit right on it. Then what I did was I began to I started to put in leaf picks in that foam around each side like that. Next thing I did was I had 3 of these very large picks. So I did one, I pushed it in that way for this one. And then this one I made an L, so I put it in so it's hanging straight this way. And then this one right here I pushed in that way. I then went in and I began to fill in with these picks right here. There's 2 of them in there. And then I added in a few more leaves. I added in some pine cones, and I added in some flowers here. And then I put the pumpkins in. I have the big one that's sitting right on the foam. And then this one and this one are attached by a toothpick. And then I have this white one. So I have a variation of color. And then what I did was I hung a piece of greenery down here as well as in there, just to set off those oranges and burgundies. Now, here is my dilemma right here. You know, like I said in my last video, I'm very symmetrical. So my inkling is to do the same thing on the other side. But I'm thinking maybe not to do the same thing on the other side, just to do something a little bit more simplistic, because that is such a gigantic statement. And then if I have the same exact thing on the opposite side, it might seem a little bit overwhelming. I'm going to try something. If I hate it, I'll just do it again. Whatever, right? Oh, and by the way, up there, I was working on the windows. I took everything down that I did there too. A little bit scattergory today. So what I was thinking was the half basket that I made. You see, I have these two nails sticking out right here. So this should hold it in place. So I'm going to try that. I don't know if I'm going to like that. I have to move. I have a chair right here that you can't see on the video, and it's in my way. And then the cable is down there, and it's just a big annoying mess, and I can't stand messes. Anyway, let me put this on. Sorry, again with my back, okay? And I'm going to try to squeeze the nails in between this. Okay, that's way too far out. Sorry, I know my back must be there. This has been very frustrating today because I wanted to do something different, right? And it keeps coming out crappy. So I'm going to shut the camera off while I get this in, because this is going to take a little bit of manipulation and I don't want to bore you. Ta-da! I got it on there. It was a little bit of a pain. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to stuff this with some garland, my trusty garland, right, that I use for everything. I'm going to stuff it in here, and this way it gives me a base for my pumpkins that I'm going to put in there, I guess, right? Although now I'm starting to think I should have put styrofoam in there. Jeez, let me see. Anyway, all right, let me think what I'm going to do. So I'm showing you I'm using the 1-inch nails, and I'm putting 2 on that one side right there. And then I'm going to put 2 in the front as well to hold the garland. The next thing I'm going to do is I take a piece of floral wire and I put it around the nail so that I can wire the garland to the nail. This is one of the reasons Marianne says I don't have more subscribers. She said I do everything too hard. But this is the only way I know how to do it, and I think it's a good way for me anyway. So you see what's going on right now is I am taking that floral wire, the 22 gauge from Michael's, and I am wiring that garland in nice and tight so that whatever I put in there is going to be held, and I can use that kind of like a base. All right, so I'm going to speed up the video here too, because the video is too long and I was just yapping too much. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in a couple of those big picks in that garland that I put right there. Now I also put styrofoam inside that basket. I took the garland out, and I'm showing you that I'm going to put the pumpkin, I'm arranging them there. I'm going to put the toothpick in the bottom of the pumpkin and then into the foam that's in the basket. And then I'm going to use a piece of floral wire on the next pumpkin. I'm going to put into the pumpkin, and then I'm going to attach it to the garland so it stays where I want it to stay. Okay, so you can see here's the white one, and what I did was I did the toothpick trick. I stuck the toothpick into this pumpkin right here. Next thing I want to put in there, it's because I want similar elements that are on both sides, even though it's a different arrangement, is this pick that I got in the Dollar Zone a few years back. And it was actually $1, and I think it was pretty neat for this, for $1. Even though I'm not crazy about the coloring of this, I never get around to painting it, but whatever. People that don't like it don't have to look, right? That's what I say. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to use the garland. This is what's so great about using that Christmas garland. You can like kind of manipulate everything around it because it grabs onto everything. You just have to bend, bend the one of the branches onto whatever you are sticking in there. And let me see. This, I think I would like maybe like that. I can't tell from here. Now actually what I'm going to do is after I get done here, I'm going to watch some YouTube videos and I'll keep staring at it, and then if I hate it, that's when I will change it. Okay, let me get some other elements for this so that you can see where this is going. Okay, so I finished this side and I forgot where I left off because it was a little while ago. I got distracted doing something else. So you can see I added in some sunflowers and some leaves and some pine cones and a couple of little flowers here and there. So this side is a little bit different than the other side. It's more condensed and it's, so it creates an asymmetrical situation here on the mantle. So, and I'll show you more detail later. So the next thing is I'm going to address up there, and I was going to do the garland around the windows like I do so many times, but I'm not going to, because like I told you, I'm trying to rein back a little bit on what I'm doing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a wreath with a candle up there. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that in a second. And then I have to put up the curtains too. Okay, so this is what I decided to put up there, and all I did was I put some of that, like it looks like hay kind of in the bottom of this. I just thought it gave it that rustic kind of a flair. And all I'm simply doing is I'm using one of these small wreaths. Yep, it's a Christmas wreath, and I am not even going to fluff it out because I don't want to see it really, so I'm going to just stick this in here now. And actually, if my shoulder wasn't so bad, I would probably just, enhance this up there. But I'm going to do it down here so I can see, have an easier time. I don't have to stretch my shoulder so much. So I'm just going to simply put in these leaves, and then I will show you when I'm done with that. I don't want to bore you with that. Okay, there you go. And how easy was that? And how beautiful is that? That was really easy. And now I can put these curtains up, and I'm almost done on this wall. All right, so here's the basket finished down here. So as you can see, what I did was I just finished it up with some pumpkins on the outside, some leaves and pine cones like everything else, and some leaves on the floor right here just to look like those pumpkins fell out. So what I'll do now is I'll just show you everything I did on this wall. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you just stumbled on me, and a thumbs up is always greatly appreciated for that algorithm. And drop me a comment, say hi, and I hope you're all doing well and getting ideas for your fall decorating. And it's sad we're approaching Labor Day and the unofficial end of the summer, but hopefully we'll have a beautiful fall. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this ending. I'm going to set it to music and not talk. Okay, I'll be seeing you really soon. I'll be back with some more in the family room, probably the coffee table and some finishing touches in this room.